Hi, Zach here from the Dynamic Music Room. In today's video, we'll be talking about student learning objectives and why you shouldn't panic. It'll be okay, I promise. So, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do so. Hit that notification bell so that you are always aware when any of our videos goes up right away. So, student learning objectives. There are not any reason to panic. It'll be okay. What these SLOs are, they're basically just a plan for a unit or a concept that you're going to spell out the kinds of activities you're doing, when you're going to be formally assessing, and that kind of thing, so that you can keep track of this information better, and also for administration to prove to them that your students are making growth and that kind of thing. And the reason that music teachers are panicking about this, including myself when I first heard about it, is that it seems like it's a ton of extra work. After all, we see like 700 kids, maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, maybe you see them once a week for only half a year. So it seems like it's really hard to keep track of all this information, but it doesn't have to be. You actually don't have to really change much of what you're doing at all, because we're already planning things based on units. We're already constantly assessing. That's the nature of the art of music. You perform music, you learn about it, you do it, and then you reflect and you offer feedback. And these are the kinds of things that SLOs are meant to cover. The only difference is that you have to have some sort of like written score for the kids, and you have to write down what you're doing instead of just keeping track of it all in our head. And we as musicians are trained to like listen and be aware of what our kids are doing. So we're already doing this. We just need to write it down. So you don't need to panic. You don't have to add that much extra work. In the beginning, you are going to have to add some extra work in planning and writing down what you're doing for your SLOs. And I mean, that's just, it is what it is. But here's why you should do it. Because if you don't, your administrators are going to come in for that data piece, and unless you give them something they're happy with, they're going to come in and they're going to tell you what you need to do. And do you really want someone telling you what you should be doing in your music classroom? Even if that administrator is a musician, there's such a huge variety in how we teach elementary and secondary music. You don't want anybody telling you what to do. You know what's best for your kids. So instead of hemming and hawing, throwing a fit about it, just get ahead of the game and get it done for yourself. That way you can do it the way you want to. And the other part that's going to take some extra time is getting the data for your students. Now, it depends on administrators and that kind of thing and what they want and what they don't want. But it can be as simple as, for example, when I was testing steady beat stuff with my kindergarten kids, I took a video of them, each of them, not individually, but as a whole class, padding the steady beat with their eyes closed to a song that was in duple and a song that was in triple to see if they could get the macro beat. And that video, I just went through and I rewatched with each kid, and I gave them a score on a score of 4, 1 being I'm not doing it at all, 2 being I kind of have a steady beat but it doesn't match, 3 being I'm matching the steady beat most of the time, or I've got it in duple but not in triple, and 4 being I've got that steady beat solid on both counts. And I just give them that score. It took me like 5 minutes to do one whole class. Now, my administrators were happy with me doing 1 class for each SLO, and we had to do 2, so only 2 classes, but yours might have to do more. Still, you can do this. If you don't want to record it, you can just do it in the lesson as well. Just as they're going, look around and mark it all down and that kind of thing. But the important part for administrators is that you have it written down for them in language they can understand. To help you with that, I have a post that's all on SLOs and how you fill them out and how you can make it easier for yourself. It's kind of a beginner's guide to student learning objectives. So you might want to head over there and check it out. I'll link it in the description below, and hopefully you find that really helpful, that kind of thing. Another thing you might want to consider is looking for some kind of entity that has built assessments in music already, especially ones that are performance-based and ones that are easy for you to implement. Find those. They might even just require almost no adjustment to make fit for your classroom, and then plug it into that SLO. Then you can go to your administrator if they question you and be like, hey, no, there's this this big important group that came up with this. It's not just me. Other people are doing it too. And your administrators will be like, oh, that's pretty cool, because it is. And they'll let you do it that way. In Michigan here, we have the MAIA, Michigan Arts Education Instruction and Assessment, something like that. But they're really cool, and they have a lot of good resources. I'll link them down there. I mentioned them a few times in my assessment stuff. But their assessments are all created by music experts. They have them in all the arts, but the music ones are created by music experts. They're performance-based, and they're fairly open-ended. There's a lot of them there, and you can just pick the ones that fit what you're already teaching, what you think your students can handle throughout the course of the year. So, to sum up, don't panic about SLOs. It's going to be just a little extra work at the beginning of the year writing down what you're going to do. During the test, don't stress out about it. Make it easier for yourself. Just record them and give them a score on 4 on a 4-point rubric, which you'll have to put in the SLO during your writing stuff. Or just do it at the moment, and it'll be just fine. Just work with your administrators, and I highly encourage you to get ahead of the game and just do it, because if you're fighting about it and you're hemming and hawing, eventually you're going to get an administrator that just comes in and tells you, and that's not what you want. So don't panic. SLOs will be okay. Thanks.